Doorbell's gonna ring in a moment. Ha ha ha! Profit of doorbells! If you put that in the video, I am gonna take your kneecaps.
Beatboxing?
Beatboxing is definitely allowed.
Gentle background beatboxing.
So, we are filming this little add-on because I've been told I'm too dark and grumpy in this video, which is absolutely true, because I just reviewed it and I sound like a prophet of doom and destruction and the apocalypse. No one has to prophesize it, it's happening outside your fucking door. This is basically a disclaimer to state that this is the worst piece of PR video that I've ever done for a project that we're a part of, which is to help the world be a better place and plant some trees and get some carbon sequestered in some trees and stuff like that. And I'm not selling it very well, I'm told by these two, because it's a really dark subject and I kind of get caught up in it. So one part of the disclaimer is so dark and gloomy, like that Russian communist cartoon walking around in a fog. And two, have patience, just keep watching it. Occasionally it gets better, and there's fun bits in there with entertainment. There'll be like short clips where we do silly dancing and stuff like that. Interpretive dancing. It's not true at all. It's an important message. While it is dark and gloomy, it is also necessary. And I have sprinkled it with nerdy bits about the apocalypse, Ragnarok, Viking mythology and stuff like that, which will be entertaining. And we are also, as I mentioned in the video, shoving in some imagery of Nordic tattoos of Ragnarok and fighting gods and burning trees and shit. I don't know if I did a burning tree, but I definitely did a tree, or 10 or 100. And then in the meantime, you get to listen to me rant about the end of the world. How bad can it be? Thank you. When the red rooster crows in the halls of the giants, the Jotnar, that marks the beginning of the end for the world, at least in the way that the Vikings perceived it. Afterwards, the golden rooster in Valhalla will crow, and then the rust red rooster in hell will crow. These are the first 3 steps that marks the coming of Fimbul, the Fimbul winter, 7 years of ice and death, where brother will turn on brother and father on son, and mankind will dissolve into war. These times, some archaeologists and some historians believe were invented by the Vikings because something similar happened during the so-called Viking Age. Some theories, some evidence pointed towards a volcanic eruption that clouded the sun and brought about ice, a lot of cold winters in Scandinavia, killing off entire villages simply from lack of food. Livestock would perish, grains would fail, crops would fail, and the Vikings started seeking lands elsewhere, those who survived. Of course, this passed. Scandinavia is now prosperous and pretty, and has some parts do have harsh, icy winters, but in general, it's all right. You can live there. Central heating has come about. But let's look at it as a bit of a prophecy for modern times. See, today's video is not about mythology, it's about science. It's about what is happening now. I see the world falling apart through global climate change. It's very disturbing when you have kids and to see rising oceans and melting ice caps. And I live right next to the beach, and every day when I walk I find it littered with trash. Some trash that will go away, most trash that will dissolve a bit and poison the seas, and that is the trash of singular humans. The large-scale pollution created by our greed and our consumerism is the real crux. It's the real source of this evil. And yes, we can point fingers at Shell and Amazon and other companies, but those companies are fueled by you and me. We buy from them, we vote with our money, we engage in the prime stone of capitalism. We give them our gold for them to give us random shit, for most parts, during this whole era of problematic times that we are going through now. Companies like Amazon has skyrocketed because we're bored and we buy shit and we would like it now. So vans running on diesel engines or similar drive out and drop off our shit the very next day. And it makes us happy. We get what we want and we get it now. All the while we heat our houses, we buy our food wrapped in plastic, and we do not think much about the next generation, because thinking about the next generation and how they will do is kind of terrifying. Now, I was fine with this before my kid came along. Like, I was always thinking that, well, humanity will perish one way or another. We've kind of set that up for ourselves. We might have someone surviving and humanity can start over again. We might have done that before, who knows? I mean, we certainly did a heavy effort to destroy the other hominid races on this planet. We probably did that for a reason. We were afraid of being made extinct ourselves. And lo and behold, here we are, extincting ourselves. If you don't believe me, and if you don't understand this concept, you can probably turn this video off. I'm not here to convince you that the world is going to shit. Go watch some documentaries. Educate yourself. Don't just trust what you see on Twitter from some random right-winged idiot who is paid by the oil companies. Actually educate yourself. And then take a walk by the sea or in the forest. See what's happening. So I'm going to stop myself right there in the video. Point out I'm very sorry. I know it's very gloomy. Gets a little bit better. Get a bit more dramatic. Keep watching. It'll be okay. But do go educate yourself. Thank you. Why the fuck are we making a video about trees and Ragnarok and stuff like that? Well, I don't think it's too late for mankind to change and do better. I don't think the coming of Ragnarok has to be right now. I also don't think the coming of Ragnarok is going to be particularly cool. In the mythologies, it's described as insane. Black ships sailing from the dark shores with Loki and armies, and the fire giant Sutra stomping across the land, wielding a flaming sword. Yggdrasil, the giant ash, quakes, and crashes mountains and trees, and forests will topple. The gods, knowing they will die, still go to war against the giants. And somewhere along the line in history, a priest was scribbling these stories down and made sure to implement the rebirth of the gods, especially a very shiny god who resembles Christ and stuff like that, and mankind survives on the shores and everything will be fine. In the original, that probably didn't happen. In the original, the world ends. Finality used to be a thing in mythologies that was frowned upon by the Christians. So, be aware that finality is quite relevant to where we are right now. You can do 90,000 things to help fix this problem. You can wake up every day and stop eating things that came wrapped in plastic. You can take your bicycle to work instead of your car, or take the train. You can start buying durable things, recycled things, buy stuff off eBay that's been worn by others, or better yet, go down to the secondhand shop and shop around there so you don't have to have it shipped to you. You can stop buying a new car every 5 years. You You can stop going on fancy holidays where you fly to your destination, because doing that is one of the worst polluters on the planet. You can stop eating meat and drinking dairy or eating cheese, or at least cut down on it. I'm not here to preach veganism, although I'm all for it. I just want you to consume less, and that counts for food and crap. If you want to spend your money, buy art from worthy contributors to the art scene. It is permanent. It has a better value for you anyways. You can sell it when you get old and you're broke. And don't buy anything made out of rare woods. The list is very long, 90,000 things at least that you can do to make things better. We decided to try to make it a little bit easier for you. While I'm talking, there might be a montage of trees. A specific type of tree that I'm quite fond of called sequoias. They are awe-inspiring creations that grow as tall as small mountains, and I want you to help plant some. Why? How does this work? Well, we teamed up with a company, an NGO called One Life, One Tree. At first, I kind of got into it because I wanted to figure out a way of doing this whole carbon neutrality, since I can't stop just using things at all right now. I needed to find some way to compensate and work against the tide. So paying this NGO to plant a sequoia tree is a pretty good solution. I don't remember the numbers off my head, but Haywood will type them out on the screen. Human beings in a lifetime spend this many million tons of CO2, and one sequoia tree can eat up, I think it's 1,400 ton of CO2 in its lifetime. That's for the big ones. They don't all grow that big, but they can. So this NGO basically goes out and plants sequoia trees in England, where they are not a native species, but they are also not an invasive species. They are not dangerous to our biodiversity. They're just brilliant and do the job really well. And after I got on board with this idea, I want you to get on board with this idea. We've gotten quite a few of our clients to jump on board and has helped. Through this, we've planted some trees. We haven't planted enough trees. We just started. This is why we're doing this video. We want you to get on board, and we want to plant more trees. We'd like to plant a plantation of these trees. They're all planted in soil that is then protected by UK law, part of this whole NGO thing, which is why, but basically that's the expensive part of getting one of these trees. It takes a lot of land, these very big trees. And they go out, they plant the seedling for you, and then voila, you have given back to the planet. You don't only have to do one tree, by the way, you can do more than one. Some people consume a lot of CO2. Consume, oh I wish. Exude a lot of CO2. Imagine global climate change happening. If you don't believe in it, again, go research. But let's just pretend it happens. Global climate change occurs. It's very likely to be that temperatures will rise. We've already seen that. So it's not going to be Fimble winter, it'll be Fimble summer instead. It'll be shit. It'll be very warm. If the human body heats up a couple of degrees Celsius, we get ill. If we heat up 4 degrees Celsius, we get put into a hospital. 5 degrees Celsius, we're dead. Same kind of goes for the planet. We've already gone up a few Celsius. Things aren't looking too good because we're not going back. The Paris Accord and all of that happened is not really kicking the ass of different governments around the planet. The only thing that is really to be done about it is to show companies and governments where we are, where we stand, and what we're willing to do and not do. You do that through consumerism. If you don't do that through your consumerism, aka you vote where you put your money, the future you're facing is forest fires, unbreathable air, climate refugees, climate wars. They're already happening. If you haven't noticed, I suggest you start delving into why certain people have to flee certain areas and stuff like that, because the land is flooding. Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, is being moved inland because Indonesia's capital is being flooded, slowly but efficiently, by Mother Nature. So, no winter, but one summer of hell. Eventually, this tide will turn, and it is likely to turn into one hell of a long winter, but that's not going to be in our lifetime. We're probably going to be dead and gone, as will our kids, unless we do some change. Again, the change is you. If you keep believing that you can't battle these giant companies and governments through your actions, you're very wrong, because each of us have impact and each of us have our vote. And once you start doing it, others will too. As I change, my friends change, my family change. I've seen my father shout at a waitress for giving him a straw. That was a bit over the top, but it was nice to see that he's engaged in doing better things for his grandchildren. You can make change. I keep saying that because it's true. To make it easier, we would like you to send us an email. We would like you to donate to us, or through us, to this NGO. We get a small discount through the NGO, which is why this is like a collaboration thing. You can also just go on their website and do it through them, but if you do it through us, we get some cool credit out of it because we want to build a forest, like a northern black forest of sequoia trees. Donate money, plant trees. How much it is will be on the screen because I don't remember. Donate money. Write us an email, help us do this. We will then make it happen. You will receive a certificate for your tree and all these things, and Henry, who runs the NGO, will walk out into land and plant a tree for you, and you will be able to go and see that tree. You can get the coordinates or the What 3 Words, the 3 words for the What 3 Words app. If you don't have that app, get it. It's brilliant. And then voila, you can go and see your tree in England. If you're a foreign client, you can go and see it when you come to get your next tattoo. Why plant trees? Trees consume CO2. CO2 is the main source of global warming, which means it's going to be the main source. It's going to be the first source that exterminates humanity. So by planting trees and having a wild, beautiful garden in front of your house, stuff like that, you help save the world in a very, very pretty way. So email, plant tree, it'll be great. We will keep making updates on our Instagram, perhaps our YouTube as well, and stuff like that, about these trees, about when they get planted. We will give you information. Sequoia trees are basically what Yggdrasil would have been, because it's a giant. General Sherman and the likes are some of the most massive trees this planet has ever seen, and bigger ones existed that were cut down by pioneers who wanted to use the wood for dumb things. Timber, which is a very, very big shame. There'll be a reel of Yggdrasil tattoos that you can watch as a reward for having watched and endured my rage and annoyance at humanity this far. I'm sure that Henry, who runs One Life One Tree, would have loved if I did like a more positive video. I think we'll do a more upbeat one when we go out to a forest and we film there. But since I'm confined to my studio today, you get all the rage and annoyance from me. You all seem to enjoy my anger more than my happiness anyways. So, let's not burn the fucking planet. Let's try to do something good. Donate some money, plant some trees, watch some Yggdrasil tattoos on the screen, and therefore I will not tell you to go and F yourself. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Ragnarok is coming. if you're a cunt, you're probably not going to plant a tree, are you? Cut that part out.